All right, so I'm going to walk you through the instructions for the week 13-14 activity, and we'll look at one of the two samples I have posted as well and go over what works and doesn't work as well. This is a pretty good sample, but there are a couple things that could have been better. So let's look at these instructions first, if I can remember where I put them. Okay, here we go. So you're creating some sort of presentation, a Prezi, a PowerPoint, video, whatever, as long as it has 10 body slides plus a title slide and a work title cited slide. So that's 12 altogether. If you're using a Prezi or a video, just make sure you have that same amount of information that you would have in a PowerPoint. You're going to provide historical information about the site, dates, rulers, why is it sacred, that sort of thing. You're going to discuss Vinnie Deloria and Andrew Gulliford's categories of sacred sites. They both have their own system of categorization. And you're going to talk about how each of them would define this site as being sacred. Students often have one slide for each, one for Deloria, one for Gulliford. Doesn't matter to me how you do it. You're going to have images of your site. There should be a map indicating where this site is. If it's a mythical place only, then find some sort of map that would include mythical places on it, right? You should provide images of the outside and the inside if that's relevant. If this is a structure, we go inside, right? That just is dependent upon your topic. And images must have a caption. I must know what I'm looking at. There also need to be 2 religious or mythical stories associated with your site. And I don't want these copied word for word. I just want a summary of the stories, right? So you must cite the material properly. It must be introduced, and I'll show you how that works in the sample. This is the same thing you would have done in all of your work so far, but I see that it keeps needing repeating, so we'll look at that again. Any information, I'm looking at the yellow here on the screen, any information not put in your own words, whether listed on the works cited page or not, will result in a 0 for the assignment. It does not matter if you copied word for word, didn't say where the source came from, used no quotation marks, didn't bother to paraphrase, but you listed it on the works cited page. That's still plagiarism, all right? That's just how that works, and that's something you should know by now. So I'm being a little more sticky about it than I have been in the past. I find it very bothersome. So let's look at one of the samples, and let's see if I've got it pulled up already. Hold on. Here we go. So this student provided material about a particular temple, Lord, and I think it's, I can't get this silly thing out of the way. Here we go. Venkateswara Temple. You notice up here it's not spelled the same way, so be careful to take care of things like that, make it look proper. This is a very nice presentation in a lot of ways. Here is our map that shows where the site is. It's on here somewhere. I'm not going to try and point it out now. And all of her sources are introduced. You do not have to do it the same way each time. In fact, you probably shouldn't. Almost every time this person used a source, I'm going to say she, and I don't remember if it was a she or not. She said, according to the author, whoever, or according to this website. You don't always have to say according to. You can say Agarwal said, or this website suggests. You don't have to start each one with according. So that's the one thing that this person could have done better. But a lot of great information in here. Describes the history of it. Each one of her images has a caption telling me what I'm looking at. Lots of pictures as we go through. Every picture tells me what's going on. One mythical story, second mythical story. All the celebrations that take place at this particular temple. A couple things I want to point out here. When you use images, be very careful. You can see this happened here, and it looks like this one's the same thing. You have to enlarge your images by pulling on the corner, right? Most of you know this, but some of you are new to working with images. If you try to pull sideways or straight up and down, you're going to elongate and distort your figures in your image. So pull only from the corners, please. The second thing I want to point out is when you type words over images, you can see this one because it's against a background, but this one is over this one's clear is what I'm trying to say. It's against just the non-text, non-image background. these remaining captions are all up against a background of images, and they are harder to read, and you see that they're not consistent. Some are yellow, some are bold, some are not. So be consistent, and if you need to put a text box as kind of like a little banner and type your words in there, whatever we can do to read it. All right, so all throughout, that's probably one of the things that she's done the most that sort of bother me. But lots of good information here, lots of good pictures, probably more pictures than we really need, but I thought it was fascinating, so I didn't mind. Then she gets down to the two categories of sacred sites, Deloria's and Andrew Gilliford's. So this site she thought had examples from 3 of Gilliford's, and it should be Gulliford's, and she has Guilford's, so make sure you're spelling things correctly. So 3 of the 9, and then from Deloria's 4 categories, she identified 2 and told me why. She just didn't say it was higher powers working through humans. She explained what that meant. All right. And then the works cited page. So that's fine. I don't really care how you do it as long as it looks something like this, alphabetical order, etc. So this is what your project's going to look like, and there is one other sample there for you to enjoy as well.